It's nice when a series comes along that can perfectly blend together story with music, and to add to the fact that this is a superhero TV series, yeah, I'll watch that any day. Luke Cage is a Netflix original series that takes place after the sequential events of Jessica Jones and Daredevil Season 2, and sees our hero try to clean up the streets of Harlem, New York. But the ending, like with a lot of these Netflix series, leaves a lot of questions unanswered. So before I say any more, huge spoiler warning. So if you don't want to be spoiled, go get a cup of coffee or something. So with Luke Cage heading back to Seagate Prison, how long can we expect his stay to be, since perhaps Matt Murdock will be representing him contingency-free? Is Diamondback now going to be part of Dr. Bernstein's experiments, and what abilities will he walk away with? Is Misty Knight really 100% to blame for Maria Dillard, aka Black Maria, getting out of being arrested for all the crimes she's committed? And how will this lead into the Iron Fist Netflix series, and possibly instead of a Luke Cage Season 2, a Heroes for Hire Season 1 on Netflix? Let's begin. Luke Cage is heading back to prison via the US Marshals responding to Maria Dillard's TV announcement identifying Luke Cage as escaped convict Carl Lewis. Luke Cage does technically still owe time for the crime he did not commit that Diamondback framed him for, so back to Seagate he goes to finish his original sentence. He's okay with this and changes Pop's saying of never backwards, always forward to sometimes backwards to move forward, always. Perhaps taking some solace in winning the war but having lost a couple of the battles with Stokes. Or perhaps he has this backwards, it is like Cottonmouth Stokes says, never confuse the battle with the war. Maria Dillard got out scot-free and has no opposition running against her for counsel. However, there are mugshots, everything that's happened at Harlem's Paradise, and the Crispus Attucks attack that are still out in the public eye for her to deal with. But if we had to treat this like a boxing match, I might have to give the edge to Maria in this first season being the first round of a fight, so that would be the step backward that Luke takes. If you'll also recall, Bobby Fish did find the evidence that would prove Diamondback framed Luke Cage in Pop's barbershop. And even though the Avocados at Law and Foggy Nelson and Matt Murdock aren't partners anymore, I'm sure with the evidence and Matt Murdock defending him, Luke Cage will be out in no time back defending the streets of Harlem. Also in a couple of closing shots, we see Dr. Bernstein, the doctor who performed the experiment that made Luke Cage who he is, at the hospital Diamondback is recovering at. So what are his plans for Diamondback? Is he just going to expedite the healing process, or is he going to make another enhanced individual? So the experiments that were being conducted at Seagate Prison were an attempt to recreate the super soldier serum that made Captain America who he is. Several attempts had been done to create enhanced individuals at Seagate, but Luke Cage was the only one that was successful. But now that Dr. Bernstein was able to recover all of his old notes and files from the Reva Connor zip drive, he should have no problem making Diamondback indestructible like Luke Cage. Somebody who's definitely not indestructible is Detective Mercedes Misty Knight. Is it really entirely her fault that Black Maria was set free and charged with nothing? And what can we expect from her in future Netflix titles? The main piece of evidence that Misty had against Maria was the verbal testimony from VIP hostess Candace, saying that Maria paid her to tell the cops that Luke Cage killed Cottonmouth and Maria had nothing to do with it. And by the way, that kiss between Maria and Shades at the end? I mean, I go for older women myself, but cringy. Anyway, even though Mariah and Shades did very good jobs destroying the evidence that would implicate them in Cottonmouth's death, they left one loose end in Candace. Even though she was paid off to the tune of $50,000, her conscience eventually caught up with her, and with only Misty to trust, she went to her to atone. But Misty losing her phone during the Luke Cage Diamondback street fight would be her biggest mistake, costing Candace her life, allowing Maria to pretend that she was Misty when she would text Candace and have Shades execute her with no witnesses. So even though Misty has a recorded confession, there still exists a reasonable doubt in the implication of Maria. One reason being that they can't physically prove that it was indeed Candace giving that confession, or tie her in any way to the other crimes that she was associated with. And given Mariah's political connections, it's hard to say if any of these accusations will catch up with her in the time to come. So where does that leave Misty's future in the Marvel Netflix universe? With Iron Fist expected to release in March or April of 2017, it has been confirmed by multiple sources that her character will not appear in the first season of Iron Fist, but do expect her to be in Luke Cage Season 2, given her comic history of being in relationships with Daniel Rand. However, it was nice to see her at the end in more traditional comic garb when she goes back to Harlem's Paradise with her red dress and her hair done up. No metal arm yet, but keep an eye out for that in seasons to come. So that's the ending explained. I'll be doing an Easter egg reference and cameos video for this series to break down some of the subtle cues that may have been easily missed. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below to see those as soon as I post them. And comment below how you thought about this series, if there was anything I missed, and what you're most looking forward to in the future of these Marvel Netflix series. Are you most excited to see Iron Fist, Punisher solo series, Jessica Jones Season 2? Comment below and let me know. And as always guys, I'll be back with videos like this and more, and as always, this is 5 Thing with the Thingabang Show. I'm out.